Could Terry McLaurin be on his way to Kansas City? Welcome into this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we got some new rumors to get to on Scary Terry, as he's not happy with his contract situation in Washington. Could he end up in KC? We'll dissect that possibility and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, we are in the midst of a like battle for the month of June here on the channel between our rival AFC West channels. I was listening to Moose, our new Broncos host, creepy TikTok guy, talk some smack the other day. Mitchell Renz, he's about to get married here, and he didn't even invite me to his wedding. So we got to stick it to both those guys and like today's video, folks. Let's show why we have the best fans, not just in the AFC West, but in the National Football League. Hit that like button. We'll get started with today's show. Last Word on Sports is suggesting that the Kansas City Chiefs should trade for Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin. McLaurin has had a fantastic career, and the thing that I would say about McLaurin that stands out more than anything else, you look at the quarterbacks he's played with. Now, he had a good one this past year with Jaden Daniels. But prior to that, guys like Sam Howell, what in the Sam Howell? Just some bad QBs that he was dealing with. Jacoby Brissett, and he was still putting up great numbers, even with the lack thereof of quarterback play. Imagine him getting to actually work with Patrick Mahomes. That could be a sight to behold. Well, here's the latest on his contract situation. Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports NFL Insider put this out on Thursday. Sources: Commanders All-Pro wide receiver Terry McLaurin has made it clear to the team that he's frustrated with the lack of progress on a long-term deal. As I previously reported, McLaurin unexpectedly left voluntary workouts after initially attending, and it remains to be seen whether he'll report for mandatory minicamp. McLaurin is entering the final year of his contract. Talks have been minimal. So, where does Kansas City factor in to this equation? Well, when you start talking about potential trade destinations, the Chiefs seem to be a possibility. That's according to the folks at Last Word on Sports who write this. This would be a no-brainer trade for the Kansas City Chiefs. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes had one of the worst passing seasons last year by his standards due to inconsistent weapons in his unit. Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice are the long-term wideouts for this offense, but they could bolster it by adding a fiery weapon like McLaurin to have a complete three-set armory. Now, I think this would be a luxury. I've said this on this show before, and I'll continue to reiterate. I think that the Chiefs' wide receiver situation is not nearly as bad as what people would lead you on to believe. I really like Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. I think Hollywood Brown, if he's healthy, is a solid three receiver. Although I'm not a big fan of Juju, he's not bad to have as your number 4 or 5. And then there's a lot of hype about Jalen Royals, of what he's going to do as a rookie, the 4th rounder out of Utah State. I think you're in pretty decent shape. But even with that said, if McLaurin's out there, this would be exciting nonetheless to potentially bring him in. I don't know how feasible it is because of the contract that you would have to take on, and the Chiefs have plenty of more guys to pay. Still got to work out deals with Trey Smith and Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis. But nonetheless, I am very interested in this possibility. We'll get to know Terry McLaurin in a bit and go further into his resume and statistics in just a matter of moments. But first, let's ask you your chance to be the GM here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Should the Chiefs trade for Terry McLaurin? Type T for trade, P for pass. Wait in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Folks, want to make sure you're subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, as we are bringing you daily coverage like no one else is with our news and rumors. We have weekly live shows each and every Tuesday. We have our interactive Q&A mailbags, breaking news, and more. This is your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. If you love the Chiefs, this is the channel for you. You need to be subscribed. I want at least 20 new subs off today's video. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Lock us in. Stay alert with everything happening on your Kansas City Chiefs. We got you covered. More on Terry McLaurin. He had a fantastic season in 2024 as he was named to his second Pro Bowl in his first ever All-Pro selection for the former third-round pick out of the Ohio State, which has really become wide receiver U over the last several seasons. And we mentioned the quarterbacks that he's had to deal with, of just up until Daniels, they were just awful. But even with that said, McLaurin has still rattled off 5, count them, uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco seasons with 1,000 yards. And the one time that he didn't, his rookie season, he had over 900 yards. So he has been the very definition of consistent, my friends. Here's what we're talking about of those statistics. In 2024, he had 82 total catches, nearly 1,100 yards, 13.4 yards of reception, and 13 touchdowns. Just barely got over 1,000 in 2023 with 1,002, nearly 1,200 in 2022, and then just over 1,000 in 2021 as well. But the big jump you see, that touchdowns number of what he had last season. And here's the thing that when we talk about bringing in these receivers, you got to talk about the age, right? They say age is just a number. In the case of Terry McLaurin, that actually might be true. He's 29, and there's no signs of age, of him slowing down at all at this point, that he's right in the thick of his prime years. He's coming off of the best season of his career so far. You got him a very good quarterback, and he improved with a career-high 13 touchdown catches in 2024. And if he could do that with Daniels and that offense, get him to Kansas City, work with Patrick Mahomes, I think you would see more of the version that we saw last year continue in KC. I think the cost, the wide receiver market has dwindled. They're not as expensive in a trade as they used to be a couple of years ago. We all remember the infamous Davante Adams trade with the Las Vegas Raiders that the Green Bay Packers made, and first round pick exchange and all that. Those days are over with when it comes to trading for receiver talent. You're looking at now, I look at the Diggs trade last year or the DK Metcalf trade recently. I think it's about a second round pick for Scary Terry that you would have to give up to potentially bring him in. And I personally have no problem with giving up a second round pick for a player of Terry McLaurin's caliber, especially when you consider that you would be getting Scary Terry right now, and he'd be able to help you out in the present. You're not having to wait for next year to use that second round pick and see what he could potentially become. That's not the problem for me. It's all about the Benjamins. That is the issue for the Kansas City Chiefs, is how do you pay him and afford to keep him around when you have all those other guys still to pay that we mentioned earlier as well. That's when it starts to get a little complicated if you're Kansas City here. Is Terry McLaurin worth giving up a second-round pick? Sound off in the comments and let us know. Type Y for yes, in for no. Tell me what you think. Got a great deal we're offering Chiefs fans this week here on the Chiefs Report. We have a sign-framed Patrick Mahomes jersey. It's a printed signature on sale now with free shipping, and it's very affordable. It'll make for a great Father's Day gift for Dad. Want to put it up in the man cave or wherever it may be, maybe in the bedroom for that matter. You know your wife's going to love it too. You can get yours now at chatsports.com/Mahomes15 with free shipping. We also have other Chiefs merchandise available for your liking as well. Go see for yourself now. Chatsports.com/Mahomes15 to get yours today. You'll be glad you did. Couple other notes on Terry McLaurin here. He is entering the final year of his current contract. It is the 3-year extension that he got a few years ago, and he's looking to get paid again as he's continued to play at a high level. And the folks at the Draft Network are projecting that Terry McLaurin's contract that he should receive next would be about 3 years, $94.5 million. So about $5.5 million less than $100 million. That's a lot of money to be paying a player like Terry McLaurin. But you can't say that he isn't worth that amount. I don't think the argument here is has Terry McLaurin earned that type of money. His statistics, his production has shown that he does deserve that type of money. The question for Kansas City is that type of money worth it for KC, though? And that might be a different answer altogether. I think somebody, I don't know if it's Washington or somebody that trades for Terry McLaurin, will gladly pay him that $95 million basically over a 3-year stretch. He's earned that, and he's one of the top 10 receivers in football. But for Kansas City in their situation, the money just simply might not work. The math doesn't quite add up, but we've seen some crazy stuff pulled out of Brett Veach's sleeve in the past. They haven't invested a ton in the receiver position, really, since Tyreek Hill left. You got a rookie contract for Rashee Rice. You got a rookie contract for Xavier Worthy. You're not paying Hollywood Brown a lot of money either. So we'll see what the Kansas City Chiefs could potentially do if they want to make a move for Scary Terry or not. And first, are the Commanders going to come to terms on an extension? First, we shall see. If you enjoyed today's show and you want to win this like battle with the other AFC West teams, the Raiders Report and Broncos Breakdown, hit the like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for stopping by. We will see you next time right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. So long, everybody.